Hello, hello, and welcome. Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 18th, and the market is about to open. All right, we've got a couple minutes, so we can go over some quick stuff. Fortunately for us, our longer term reports are pretty much the same. We're still hanging out right at pivotal junctures, and we're kind of waiting to see what happens, right? So let's just take a peeky look at that real quick. Obviously, on our weekly, we are pressing up against our trend. We are still within our EMA cloud on our weekly moving averages. And kind of the same story we see on the daily, except the difference is our daily is showing a positive trend on our moving averages. So, cool stuff, cool stuff. PPI did drop this morning. Looks like we beat expectations by a wee little bit. So, yeah, it seems like inflation is heading in the right direction. What that says for stocks and the market, well, that's anybody's guess. Obviously, if people feel more stable in the economic outlooks, they'll be a little bit more excited about putting their money into the market and, not potentially losing it. So, spells good news for things hopefully going up. All right. And I mean, that's kind of it for our report. Ain't really much else going on there. We're going to see today whether or not we can get some breaching of our trend line, whether or not price action can hold above that. We do have a VPOC left in our wake from yesterday's price activity, so always a potential for us to go back, retrace, revisit that before breaking, after breaking. There's no set rules to these things. But so far, things still seem to be looking a little bit bullish. And yeah, all right. Let's see. What contracts do we want to start with today? It's a great question, right? I think 399 on the put side is what we're going to be looking at. Yeah, that sounds about right. The reason we're going to look at our 399s is because if we can't maintain our price activity over the T+2 high, that's kind of a good spot for us to start losing momentum on the buying side and for some sellers to maybe jump on the train and push our price down. That being said, don't necessarily want to be looking to short activity, nor do I really want to be looking to jump in long. I don't like where everything's positioned right now for trying to get into early trades. So we're probably going to spend a period just letting things develop and see what happens, right? We're going to see if our EMAs on our 30-minute chart stay positive, if price action stays above. We're going to look at some of our other charts, our 5-minute, our 15, and just see how everything plays out. Speaking of the devil, it's time. All right. All right, you guys have a good view. Don't need to mess with that. I am going to change my screen, though. I don't need overnight information anymore. Pretty aggressive push-pull right out of the gate. Of course, when it's this early in the session, we're more interested in looking at how it stacks up on the left chart as opposed to the right. We don't have enough information on our right side chart to make any decisions. Still getting some pretty aggressive push-pull. Looks like buying volume definitely has the upper hand, at least in our early session. Looking at our daily chart, our buy-sell pressure, we've got a lot of buying pressure as opposed to selling pressure, which of course makes sense since we're above open price. We don't have enough information yet to get a reading on our internals. Need about 5 minutes before those start picking up. Most of our sectors are green. Of course, we already knew that because we're above closing price. Previous day closing price, that is. Looks like financials and staples are down a wee little bit. Everything else is holding green. I mean, it's just barely green. Tech's up a decent click this morning. Got about, wait, sorry, that's not tech. That's discretionary. Let's, no, tech's up like 0.5%. But discretionary is the one that's leading everybody else. It's up 1%. Everything else is just kind of hovering, not really moving anywhere. So looking at our profile chart, it looks like price is trying to push back into yesterday's value. I'm going to see if it makes it there. Our halfback is right there too. And if they can maintain price activity above the halfback, that tells us that the bulls are definitely still in charge. Given yesterday's activity, of course, though, we started off high before receding. We did come up and touch the downward trend line this morning. That peak is just like a cent or two off of it. Let's see, we got a high at $3.99.56, and our trend line is roughly $3.99.59 this morning. We haven't run away from it yet, though. So we could be basing under it for a break. Consolidating along resistance and whatnot. Kind of a similar effect of what we'd expect if we were consolidating along a support. Ooh, that was a big yawn. All right. Well, we've got the 399s loaded up on our put side. For calls, I guess maybe. Well, we'll put 399s in our call side for now as well. Again, I don't think we're going to take any trades in A period unless something starts to glaringly pop out at me. Looks like that low there did touch our moving average on our 30-minute. So that potentially was a good long entry for the morning session. Failure to rotate back over VWAP there. So it looks like sellers are starting to gain the upper hand in our morning session. This is the majority of activity so far has been selling us back down and keeping us below VWAP. So I guess we'll get to see if buyers see that as an opportunity or if they kind of step aside, let this retrace a little bit. But for now, we can start to put some lines on our chart. Oh, man. Oh, that was just a really, really good price on calls there. I thought about it for a second. Well, Shame I only thought about it and didn't take action. I mean, even if we just scalped there, that'd be a pretty decent play for the morning run. All right, so first push outside of very early trend. Does seem like it got rejected a little bit. Sellers still have a slight upper hand in our pressure, but it's pretty much looking closer to neutral now. I guess the best takeaway right now is that there's a lot of buyers and sellers agreeing with each other on the price at this level, or there were. And there's the sellers. All right to our previous day close. They're testing below the halfback now. Let's see if they go tag that POC. Definitely would be very telling if we left two VPOCs in our wake. I think maybe we might be able to draw a channel on this. Nice early morning channel. Let's see what that looks like. A little messy, but it's all right. A decent sized buying wave. Reclaimed almost all of that selling wave. So let's see what our opening high was at. Potential for a spring event. Sorry, not a spring event, upthrust event coming in right here. Let's see if it pushes back into this channel or not. Well, alrighty then. I think we're going to go ahead and declare that a dead channel. Well, here's our trend line again. Getting some breaching. Through a pivot, too. Yeah, this is still just looking like a lot of push and pull. I think we've made the right decision to kind of sit on this through a period. Let everything play out before we start trying to get fancy. Oh man, that selling wave just consumed the last two buying waves. This actually is starting to look like a change in tone here. Maybe we are going to look for a spot to get short. Oh, we may have just missed it. What the flip? Good Lord. The violence in this range. I'll tell you, the algos are making money this morning. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I don't even know where I'd jump in. I mean, at least for our longer term look, a lot of our indicators are still pointing bullish. They haven't really crossed any of our good lines in the sand yet. No, nothing's really popping out yet. Looking at our ticks, now that we've got a few minutes of information, we haven't painted anything in the red yet. It's all been green this morning. So even though we've kind of got this push-pull uh, price action holding below the 512 VWAP, we've still been painting positive ticks on the day. Of course, we also have to keep in mind that's relative to yesterday's close and today's opening price. But still, it's worth noting. The bottom half of this volume area does seem to be collecting most of the activity. Actually kind of reminds me of an old accumulation period that we used to see when the market actually went up. Getting another crossover of our EMAs on the short term, but I mean, just kind of look at how everything else has been this morning. It's not really going to tell us anything definitive. Messy, choppy, sideways action. The storm before the break. Up or down? That's a great question. Are we going to get a new high on the day? Testing that trend line again. Let's see if there's any sell orders still trapped up there. Probably could mark that off as a potential supply zone, now that I think of it. Ah, dang it. I tried to get some puts, but weren't quite quick enough. I don't know. Tough to decide if I want to pay more for them or not. Had a really good price there for a second. I don't know if I want to potentially sacrifice 10 more cents just to see if I'm right, though. Well, if you did short that zone, this is where I would have cut my first piece, just in case it starts trying to accumulate at the 13. Then we would hold our second piece for the VWAP test. Then our third piece would be hold for a potential full breakdown. We would use VWAP as our stop out, though, just because for all intents and purposes, everything looks like it's balancing this morning. So, we're not going to hold and hope something like that. I think we can put a demand zone into our chart as well. So if we're looking at that 950 candle on our tick chart here, we're actually expecting that there's still some buy orders trapped in this area that I'm highlighting right there. So once we get a break of that, then we can see if we can test that lower area. So far, sellers are definitely trying to chew those orders up. All right. So if we were short, this is where we would take our second piece of profit. Now, we wouldn't set a safety stop on the third piece at VWAP yet. I mean, if we had, we would have already gotten kicked out. But the idea is we're waiting to see if it drops to that lower volume area below now that it's consumed the rest of the orders in that zone. We definitely wouldn't hold it to our original stop point for a loss because that would have been above the resistance there. But we could conceivably set a safety stop to the top wick of that second red candle because we would expect there to be some sell orders still trapped there if things came back up. And then, of course, if they tried to blow through that, we'd want to get out and not get trapped with our last piece. Obviously, we're just theory crafting. I was not able to get into the short position. But it's good to do that, right? Nothing wrong with doing paper trading along your real trading. See if your ideas work. Oh, that's a nice little volume spike. Potential terminal volume or initiating volume. We're gonna watch the Weiss wave here. We may just kind of hop in. Because, I mean, look at the discrepancy here, right? That is a tiny volume candle, and that price action bar is huge. Yeah, it looks like that definitely was an initiating bar. Ah, crumb cakes. Yeah, we missed that one too. That's all right. We'll see where the next one is because it looks like this is going to break now, and we're going to have to look for another play on the next consolidation area. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe we'll get another short opportunity. Maybe it's not done balancing yet. I'm definitely more hesitant jumping into a short position now after seeing that initiating volume and then also recognizing that this is the third time we're poking into this resistance here. It's an old saying, can only knock on a door so many times before someone lets you in. There it is. Ha ha. Well, we didn't play it, but I like being right. Nice little touch off the overnight high there. All right. So we've now consumed the orders that were in that previous supply zone. So the $1 million question we're going to be wondering now, especially that we've broken over our trend line, is whether or not new sellers are going to enter the market here, or if old bulls are going to shift. Well, I guess they would be new sellers at that point, wouldn't they? So it'll be very important to see if this holds as support now, or if we lose it and we get a spring event, not spring upthrust event. Geez, why am I reversing those so much this morning? But either way, we can get rid of that because that's no longer a valid zone. So far, seems to be holding support. I'd say probably a decent risk to reward spot to enter, given the activity we're seeing too. Not necessarily a bad play. We are in B period now. B period's given us our new high. The test of B period low is what has confirmed as support so far. Well, anyways, on that note, I'm going to step away for a minute, refresh my coffee. We'll see if anything exciting happens while I'm gone. And we're back. Yep, doesn't look like anything exciting happened. We did get a test of our support. Looks like it might not be able to maintain the price activity up there. We're getting new sellers entering the market. Ooh. Although, look at our Weiss wave here. This is a big wave for very little reward in terms of price action. Am I going to do it? Am I going to grab a long? Hesitating too long? I hesitated too long. So that tells us that there was a selling push, and their inability to break support, their inability to gain traction on price action, that was probably the spot to buy our long. Apparently, we're just not going to be pulling the trigger today on plays. So since we broke the consolidation area, we've drawn a little channel at our last swing before we actually broke out of consolidation. We're going to see if that channel holds true now. If it does, obviously, we absolutely missed our long entry point, but that doesn't mean that there won't be another. And of course, if B period keeps kind of spinning sideways here at the old resistance, new support, that doesn't sound good for the bulls. It could be a good drop point for a little retracement. I mean, obviously, you need some liquid if you're going to go higher. And if we can't get higher, well, then we need liquid. But the cool thing is, or at least the hindsight theoretical playing, if we had taken that long, right where we were talking about at the channel bottom there, we would be able to set a stop on this now, that no matter what, even if this completely breaks down on us, we'd probably get out of the play with a few cents. Right? Because at this point, now that it's moved sideways, it would have to break back through that 13 moving average, which would then, also be challenging the channel bottom again. And that is a higher point than when we bought in, and volatility was in our favor. So, yeah. But it's all theoretical. We didn't actually make the play. If I was in the play, I'd probably take a piece here at the overnight high, just in case this is where new sellers decide to enter, and we still have a proper high on our profile chart. Other than that, if we break the PD high, that's where I'd end up setting my safety stop on the play. Oh, yep. And if we were long, we would have taken our first piece there. We probably would have just gotten knocked out right there. So overall, that would have been a winning long position. Obviously, because the second two pieces would have got knocked out at a stop, wouldn't have been as lucrative as it could have been. But. All right, so it's through the potential channel. It's testing that horizontal support again. That little touch of the overnight high could be seen as a spring event. Oh my gosh, I did it again. An up thrust event. Springs are below support. Up thrusts are above resistance. Come on, get it together. And if that's the case, we absolutely should have grabbed a short on the way down there. But that one moved pretty quick. There probably wouldn't have been time, even for a theoretical play. We probably wouldn't have been able to get into that one. Still pretty cool to observe. I like when textbook stuff happens, because it isn't super often, and it provides really good examples of kind of what you're looking for. So, up thrust event being a test outside of our last known reference point for resistance, followed by an immediate fail, which, if it is a true up thrust event, should then take us through and back down, like it looks like it's appearing to do right now. So yay, textbook up thrust. Let's see, what's our Weiss waves telling us? Is this a legitimate move? Pretty big wave, but it did take some pretty serious price action with it. Medium wave, still gaining some traction. Test of the underside. That may have been our last opportunity to grab a nice short. Let's see if we can get a good price on this. 79. Where did it go as a low to? 75, 80. That is a put, right? Yeah, okay. Price action was kind of moving in a weird direction there for a second. We haven't crossed over our moving averages yet, though. Is this a teaser? Are they pretending to break it down? Man, we're drifting back up into the cloud. Okay. I guess we're glad we didn't grab that short right there. We definitely would have got stopped at. I would not have held that up to back over the 13. But what made me hesitate was that we still had enough space in our cloud that it wasn't telling me sellers were taking control yet. So it does kind of increase the odds that we get a little bit of consolidation around that area above VWAP before we make the eventual break. So there should be a better short entry if that's the case. A little reverse channel. I don't really like how that's drawn though. Let's try this. Still haven't gotten that crossover. It's really close though. Getting that consolidation on VWAP. Maybe I should set a stop buy-in order below VWAP. So if this breaks fast, we can catch some of the momentum, but it won't, or it shouldn't, execute us in unless an actual drop occurs. They still haven't crossed. Man, they are just really teasing it, though. It will be quite comical if this ends up being a little accumulation zone before the next rip up. Well, never got our crossover, and now we've got a higher high on penetration, so we're not looking at a short anymore. So let's see. Where would we want to get in long off this play? Oh, I think it did that yesterday. No, past performance is not an indicator of future performance. Probably should just stay out of it too, considering we're like right smack dab in the middle of everything. What's that saying? Don't diddle in the middle? All of our other charts and whatnot are still telling us to look for long positions on the longer time frame. I think I'm actually messing myself up a bit by kind of going back and forth between looking for long, looking for short. I should have just been looking for long positions all morning. Would have had a really nice one out of the gate when we touched the what is that? No, I want to see what the study is. The 8 on our 30-minute. And then we would have had some good ones in the later morning session off of our 5-minute, touching our 13. So basically, the lowest point and then that second lowest point both gave us some pretty good indicators to get in long, and then just see where it took us. Jeez. So I guess VWAP is support now. All right, here's that opening price. Well, opening high, I should say. Well, we talked about setting a stop buy in below. Yeah, I'm all over the place today, guys. Some of this analysis has been spot on, but some of it has also just been like flailing. I would say good job on setting a short position below VWAP for the, well, exactly this, but I talked myself out of it, right? So you can't really say that I would have done that. Let's see. Checking below the value established on the day. Back against the value high from our previous day. This zone's kind of been spit on. Did penetrate through it. I don't know if I want to keep this drawn on. Things are changing. This would be our short opportunity. I'm going to try it, see what happens. Oh, cool. Didn't get the best price that we could have, but it's all right. It allows us to actually have a pretty generous stop on this. Well, it's not exactly dropping the way I would have liked it to have dropped, being in the short position that we grabbed. Wow. Yep. I mean, maybe we won't get kicked out and this will just bomb from here, but I think we are going to get pooped on. Well, I actually did just try to add there as we dropped back through the point of control, but it skipped me over. I'm still not feeling super confident about a short, though. It'd probably be pretty silly to add to it. Hmm. So at first, some of the things that made me want to jump in, if we kind of dissect it, the logic there, we were starting to paint our first negative ticks on the day, and our weighted AD also dipped below the zero. I mean, they've now ticked back up over the zero, but yeah. So it looks like there's a decent buying presence at these lows. I mean, you can see it, right? That's aggressive. Hmm. Consolidating on VWAP. All right. I added to it. That's a tough call. But the good news is we're not really risking anything more than what we were already risking. Decreased our cost basis a little bit. And if we get one more pull down to value before this tries to ripperoni, we might be able to get out of this with a little profit. Just need it to drop under that POC. that's getting chewed right up. It's a decent sized wave. We're going to adjust this a little bit. Not actually going to let it stop out up there. That's just in case something crazy happens. Like I said, we did get a better cost basis, but we did just get a little bit more liberal with the amount we're willing to let it go to. I want to see how this trend line we've drawn plays out with the activity. It's just where we had our original stop. It's just a volatility tick could have taken us out without the price action actually hitting something we wouldn't want it to get to. Man, the same zone it keeps getting stuck in. Oh, there you go. Really? If we lost that much value already? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, I think I moved my stop a little too quickly there, but we got a few cents. Oops. I thought it was actually gonna. I didn't. I didn't think setting the stop at the price we did was gonna get it ticked there. Ah, that's unfortunate. All right. Well, we've just kind of been flailing today, guys. And we did just make that play. And clearly my nerves are shot because that was kind of a silly error right there. There was no reason to adjust our stop that quickly other than I was just becoming paranoid because of how long I had sat in it and whatnot. I mean, right here, like this is what we were looking for. And that would have been the play. That would have hit our goal for today. So, yep, we're going to shut it down just so we don't do anything silly. We did end green with a few cents, but kind of an ugly green with a few cents. Not too happy about how I flailed around this morning. But anyways, hopefully you guys learned something following along, listening to me logic and unlogic myself out of plays. Hopefully the theoretical plays that we didn't pull the trigger on or we missed getting filled on gave you some better insights into maybe your own trading. But yeah, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, come join us in Discord, hang out with me live when I do this. It'll be cool. It'll be fun. It'll be a party. All right. Till next time, take it easy.